So we got 1 o'clock. You guys are logging on. Welcome to the Mastery level role play. Denny Grimes, Sonny Hammermeister, John McLeod, and the rest of you guys. This is our weekly Thursday, 1 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. Real estate, the most advanced I've been able to find on the internet. And you guys know we have mastery level role play. Anything is fair game. Everyone's welcome to participate. There is no judgment here. There is only learning and having a little bit of fun at the same time. You guys help me. So I'm always looking for new ways to get across the message. We're always in the process of some level of communication. Had a great conversation. I'm sure Sonny would smile when she hears me talk about our conversation today on communication. And how challenging it is sometimes to get everybody on the same page. And so as I always do, I start with a couple of basic slides. First of all, John, are you there? Are you plugged in, ready to go?
I'm working on it, but I'm just trying to put my headset going here so I'm not disturbing Gio.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, well, I'll give you a second to do that. John was on a multi-million-dollar listing appointment last week, and he wasn't able to be with us, and I was really disappointed he made the choice to go on the listing appointment instead of co-host here. However, I'm glad he's back. So, as you know, our style of role play is question-based, listening-enhanced conversations. And we follow a model. We want to go through and we'll actually state the model in each and every role play. And the model is just 4 simple steps. Acknowledge. 2 is you isolate. Best way to isolate. Other than that, then you answer and then you close. So write that down. In fact, Sonny, if you'll be happy, nice enough to put that in the chat, that would be awesome. The acknowledge, isolate, answer, close. So, John, I trust you had a good presentation. Everything go good on your multi-million-dollar listing.
Everything went well. In fact, you know, it's seeing as we're in a safe zone here. I'm actually, this is kind of humorous. I'm going to get a pedicure with the owner this afternoon. I just said that because I figured Whitney would laugh, and she did. And Sherry, I appreciate that too. But you're not Sherry. I know Sherry. So yes, I'm going to get a pedicure with the client this afternoon.
Well, I can tell you,
it's a $6 million listing, Denny. It's a $6 million listing. I'd get a pedicure for $6 million.
I have never gotten a manicure or pedicure with a client in order to get a listing. So that's awesome. So you guys, if you have not already, make sure you make note of the YouTube channel. These presentations are actually recorded. They're put on the YouTube, the Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate. Go ahead and subscribe and like that. We always want to put new information on. I do put my TV spots on. And I film every other week. I did one this morning on the summary of 2021 and how the market's going to look for 2022. And I'll share a couple of the little thoughts with you before we go. If you have anything pressing, maybe you just had an appointment with a buyer or seller, or you're on your way to an appointment with a buyer or seller, and you want to practice it with us, we'd love to do that. Just kind of raise your hand and let us know, because this is 100% participatory, and we never want to make you feel John, you'll understand this. We don't want to make you feel too uncomfortable. A little bit uncomfortable will be okay. However, we don't want to put anybody on the spot, although you're going to go out there and be with a real buyer or seller, and it may cost you $5, $10, $15, $20,000. So maybe being uncomfortable with us might be a little better. So I want you guys to be ready just to talk to me a little bit, because this is my metaphor of the day. I love analogies and metaphors, because I'm always working on, Sonny, I'm always working on better ways to communicate what I'm thinking or understand what you're thinking. So, thought of the day. I want you to just let your brain go and just listen. I'm going to give you what I'm thinking. And I want you to conjure up in your mind what you hear me say I'm thinking. Okay, there's no wrong or right. And then take a second, and if you would, go in the chat. You can just open the chat window. You can see. I'll give you an opportunity to write down what you see me say. Okay, and you can be as general or descriptive as you want to. This will be kind of fun. Y'all ready? So I want everyone to play, even Sonny and John, everyone to play. And this is what I see. I see a dog running. Describe what I see based on the picture that just came into your mind. Now I'm going to go over here to the chat and just see what you guys are saying and thinking. Oh, okay, good. You got a potential
So
objection.
you want us, just for clarity, you want everyone to say what you're thinking or what the picture that we're seeing?
Well, I want you to describe what you are seeing by what I said I'm seeing. Because what I'm attempting to do, this is no different than us having a conversation with buyers, sellers, and I think the market may crash. That's just like them saying, I see a dog running. So just describe the picture you have in your mind. When I said that, you are attempting, something popped into your mind, the dog running. What was it? Standing in a neighborhood, dog running down the street, a dog running. That is not an answer. I see a man to the right and a dog to the left and a dog running at the man. Got it. Keep going, you guys. This is worth it. Just trust me on this. Trust me, this will be worth it. Tell me the picture you see, because this is communication. Every buyer seller is making a statement, and they feel they're pretty clear in what they're saying because they are thinking of a picture when they're talking to you. And too many agents make the mistake of attempting to handle an objection starting with the wrong picture. I see a dog running up to me and coming home from the office. Okay, good. What's interesting is, well, I'm going to stop. You guys look at the comments. And I know some people haven't commented yet. What's interesting, do you see anything missing? Just what does it?
You.
Okay. Oh, well, there's no me in the picture, right? That's okay. And there's no dog in the picture. You see a dog, no one's describing the dog, right? I would say there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying, and I used this morning, not this exercise, but this is a concept I wanted to get across. John, you can layer on it and let me know.
Hey, I said a Dalmatian chasing a car.
So
Well, there we
Francis
go.
said fluffy.
That was the
clean
very
puppy.
first one.
Dog
under-
broke
yeah.
free from the leash chain and running 100 miles an hour. The dog owner. Oh yeah, okay. Awesome. That's kind of like, this is your doggy bite. You know that one, right?
Master.
What did you say?
Francis said fluffy, clean puppy.
Well, here it is. Here. All right, I'm going to move forward, and you tell me what you think about this. This is what I said on role play today, and I thought I would just experiment with you guys. When we're talking to someone, buyers and sellers, sometimes our family, sometimes our team, we are using words, thinking pictures, right? There's a picture we have in our mind. Now, it's like having to basically working with a buyer seller is the same as attempting to put together a jigsaw puzzle without seeing the front of the box. And I only want to get this through your brain, and my thought of the day is, wouldn't it be better, wouldn't it be easier to put together the puzzle? Because the closer we get the pieces to fit, the more comfortable they are, the more we understand what they're thinking and what they're seeing. Wouldn't it be better to have a better idea of what they're seeing? And then one of the best ways to do that, because there's really no box to look at, is to ask great questions. And I'm saying this because as we go through and discuss not so much the role play, the anatomy of the role play. Write this down. I say it every week. And I'm sorry, John, I want to get you in here in a second. If you don't know, you can ask. And you know what? You will never get penalized for asking because you're seeking clarity. When you walk into a doctor, my leg hurts. Where? On the knee. what need. You see what the doctor's doing is attempting to get narrowed down versus saying, well, I think you should do blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to show you now the picture of the dog running. And if you guys had this picture in your mind, just let me know. Okay, here we go. Boom. Is that at all what you thought I was seeing?
Most everyone saw a dog running down the street.
Well, that dog, where you see that type of dog? Did you
No.
see it in the grass? All right. So tell me, did anyone have an aha moment? John, maybe you can have people raise their hands. Share with me what you think I'm saying, because we're going to build on this throughout today's class. And it won't be about the dog.
All right, guys, don't be afraid to speak up. Whitney, you've disappeared and you're back in the picture again. So what did you take from this?
I actually just liked your doctor analogy, because we get so wrapped up in real estate where it's like, oh, good point. Like, we're kind of like doctors of real estate, and just always narrowing it down is key.
Yes, right.
Jim Martell in Atlanta, what did you pick up? And are you the same Jim Martell that used to be with Remax like 25 years ago?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm a different Jim Martell. No, I see that it came from the speaker's perspective. What he was describing was from his perspective.
Okay. Maria.
I think where Denny's getting to, maybe we see commotion, maybe we make it more complicated than it really is. Because it was a dog running, he's running away from the owner. Where really it's just a dog in the field.
Do we have a natural tendency to fill in the blanks when they're not given to us?
Yeah.
What happens when you fill in the blanks with your own interpretation?
You make it more complicated than it really is.
Yeah, you could totally have the wrong information. I mean, somebody saw a lady getting out of a car chasing a bull mastiff. That's a completely different scenario than a cute little black and white terrier running through the lawn, right? I want to know who the lady is who's going to chase down a bull mastiff, but that's a whole nother story. When we don't have perspective, we tend to fill in our own. And doesn't that create communication gaps and misunderstandings? I know, Denny, I have no idea if that's where you're going with that, but that's where I went.
Yes, because here in a second, when we get into a couple of different role plays and objections, what I'd like to do first is have you guys ask what do you need to know, just like the doctor analogy. Well, what leg, where on the leg, what type of pain is it? Let's see if we can fill in the blanks, so we can then ask the buyer or the seller the right question. Because one of the things I know that Keller Williams has these fun things, and they have these 1 minute to handle objection. And it's fun. There's no doubt about it. It's fun. It's entertaining to watch. However, in the reality, you really cannot fully understand what a buyer or seller is saying and then do surgery on that objection inside of 60 seconds. And so I think it's fun to watch, just like HGTV, that they can find a house, fix the house, flip the house inside of 44 minutes, less commercials. And because in reality, it doesn't work that way. So let's just move it and we'll build on it. So I want to share with you, and if I have the opportunity, and Sonny, you might be able to find this, or maybe John can. Somebody sent this article out, and this is an awesome article and I wanted, if you can find the link and put it in the chat. If you just, experts predict the 2022 housing market, that was in the Washington Post the last couple of days. I want you to have that, because here's what that article does. And it's a great summation of about 7 or 8 major real estate opinion leaders of places like, I wrote down some, of course, the National Association of Realtors, Realtor.com, the National Association of Home Builders, Zillow, Redfin, Mortgage Banking Association. So there's 7 or 8 different sources. Now, I know those sources are pro real estate. And so you're probably not going to have any of those folks saying it's going to crash and burn. However, what I like about it is it gives a great summary, easy read on what these major people are saying about the market. And I won't take the time right now to tell you about each one. There's one, they range from about 11% up. Zillow says most people are less than 5% gain. They're also predicting interest rates to rise again. So again, that's an opinion, right? So I want you to hang on to that, because now we're going to go into some objections, and we're going to assume sellers and buyers are looking at information. So any questions? So here we go, John. This would be the first one. Seller objection number 1. I heard the market is going to continue for at least 2022. So I'm not super motivated to sell. I'm not super motivated to sell. Now let's stop and raise your hand if you want to basically ask, what would you really need to know? Because that is like the statement that I see a dog running. What would you want to know in order to understand the picture that this potential seller has in their mind about the market? What would you like to know before we start to handle the objection? So let's see, John, how this works, and maybe some people can come up with the thought process, the strategy. Oh, let me tell you this. And as you know, I'm a big football fan. The Tampa Bay Bucks are playing LA, right, in the divisional game. And so these teams are now developing a game plan for this game on Sunday. That's what we're doing. We're slowing the objection process down just so we can talk about what's our game plan for a seller that has that in their mind. John?
Well, first, Denny, man, I get it. I hear that a lot. I may want to wait until the market peaks to be able to sell. Other than that, is there anything keeping you from moving forward?
Well, okay, I got that. I mean,
we're going to start with isolating and see if that's the only
what I
issue.
don't, though, John, want yet is I don't want us to handle the objection process. In fact, what I want is, what questions do you have in the mind? What pieces of information? Because we can't see the box with a picture on it. Somebody put it in the chat, which I think this is kind of where I'm going with this.
You're just waiting for me to break out rum on the beach.
Yeah. Where did they get the information? All right. Where did they get the information? I think we'd want to know that. What other piece of information would you want before we go into the handling of the objection?
Well, when you do sell, where are you going to go? Are you moving up or moving down?
Okay.
I would say, what does continue mean to them?
I like that. And that is a classic example. I'll make sure they define their terms, because going back to the dog, I had a black terrier, right? So that's awesome, Whit. So what else would you want to know?
Interactive, guys, come on. I'll call Joshua next if no one else steps in his place.
And Moses, where's Moses been?
Moses is there.
Here I am. You just made me think line of sight. I'm renewing my license, and one of the stair inspections was technique at the top of the stairs, and make sure all the stairs are evenly aligned. And along with your dog picture, I thought of something totally different that I actually saw, but that's not the point. And so what you're saying is exactly correct. If someone's seeing, like, you have this puzzle and nobody knows what the picture is, because they're seeing something totally different.
Okay, awesome. Good.
And
Is
Marie
there
Torres had a
anything-
great comment in the chat box there, Denny, which was, let me pull it up here because it just disappeared off my screen. What price would you be motivated to sell? Or another way of asking that, if you got next year's price today, would you sell?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Whitney, is there any other ambiguous words there that you might need to have defined?
I'm looking at the second part. So it says I'm not super motivated to sell. So I would go back to, okay, what would need to happen? I don't know. I'm trying to go down that path, but I can't think of the words.
Okay. Well, what's interesting, because we do question-based listening enhanced, we're emphasizing the words they use are important because their words are describing their picture. So super motivated. So what does that mean? So, all right, there may be some other things that pop up. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and be the seller here. And who would like to be the agent and follow the model of helping me? And we'll hold this to about 3 minutes, and then we'll let somebody else take a crack at it. Any volunteers?
Come on, Whitney.
I was still stuck on that question. Hey, so what if you say you're not super motivated to sell, but what if the market doesn't continue?
Okay, well, let's then, you can do that. Let's go ahead and start. What is the model?
Acknowledge, isolate, answer, close.
There we
So, Mr. Seller, I understand your concern. You're thinking the market's going to continue throughout 2022, so you're not super motivated to sell. Tell me, what does continue mean to you?
Okay, now, did we skip isolation?
I don't know. Probably.
That's why we repeat the model, because again, we don't want to handle an objection if they're just going to keep coming at us. One other thing, and again, Whitney certainly approached, she's been on the calls before. Did you hear the word she said versus the word that I said? There's a difference. Did you hear what Whitney said? Whitney was repeating back to me, so you're thinking the market is going to continue. What did I say?
I heard.
You see, a small thing like that can be big because that's how people process auditory, visual, or kinesthetic, right? So the isolation would be, John, you have the line.
You know, I get it. I hear that all the time, Whitney. You know, other than you heard the market's going to continue and you're not super motivated, what is keeping you from moving forward today?
So that's the other than that question. And because we're going to keep the role play here to a few minutes, I'm going to say, that's it. I guess that's it. Whitney, back to you.
Okay, great. So tell me, if the market doesn't continue through 2022, what will that mean for you and your family?
Well, nothing. I mean, we want to get something bigger, and if it doesn't continue to go up, well, okay, well, I guess that means that we're not buying something that's more expensive then, so it's probably okay.
And I'm sorry, say that again.
If it doesn't go up, that means, because we want to get a bigger home, and we're gonna get a bigger home. So if it doesn't continue, well, we made a pretty good, we've owned this thing 10 years, so you have a pile of equity, and that just means we probably will get a better buy when we buy. So we're just betting that our numbers are going to come up for a little bit more, and so we can take more money off the table.
Okay, and I understand you're looking to make the most money when you sell your home. Are you familiar with what's going on with interest rates and how that could affect you as a seller?
No, I actually hadn't thought about it a whole lot because we don't have a mortgage and we'd be paying cash anyway. So no, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, and yeah, most people don't, and especially in your situation, I would say the market's in your favor. You're a cash buyer and you're looking to get top dollar when you sell your home. So something to consider is the buyers that will be buying your home most likely will be affected by interest rates. And we know when interest rates go up, buying power goes down. So again, back to your, what you heard about the market continuing, what if it doesn't continue and things start to shift, let's say tomorrow?
Now, if you were watching game film on that, Whit, how would you then evaluate what you just went through?
It's a rabbit hole.
Well,
Actually, Denny, I was going to say that was a good pivot to turn the focus on the buyer of your house. Granted, we only have 3 minutes on this role play, but I would probably have dug a little bit deeper and asked you, who do you think is the ideal buyer for your home? And how, if she's going to continue down the interest rate roads. However, I might, backing up a little bit more in the conversation, you kind of said something that didn't make an awful lot of sense, and I would have clarified that. You said that you were buying up and you sell your home for more in 2022, you get to pocket more. Now, typically what goes through my head, if you're going to buy a bigger house, it's going to cost more. So I might have dug a little deeper on that. So Denny, you said you're going to buy a bigger home and you want to pocket more money from this. Is the bigger home going to be more expensive or less expensive than what you sell yours for?
what I was saying is that if my house continues to go up that I'm selling, most likely the things that I'm going to be looking at are going up as well. You asked me, what if the market doesn't go up? I said, well, then my house won't be going up. Therefore, what I'm buying would not be going up as fast either.
Yep. And you said you wanted to take more off the table, because I wrote it down, taking a page out of Denny Grimes' book.
Right.
You wanted to take more off the table.
Yep.
So to simplify this, Denny, I know we're on short time here. Really what we're talking about is you're just transferring an asset from one location to another. So does it really matter? Are you going to either buy high and sell high, or you're going to buy low and sell low? So it really doesn't matter if you're just taking your asset and relocating it from one house to the other. In the end, the wash is the same.
So again, coaching Whitney and John on this, and then we can bring in somebody else if you want. One of the things Whitney did is she admitted going down a rabbit hole. She started down a road and wasn't sure where it was going and turned into a Stephen King novel, right? And there was no question. Now, again, so let me just go back to Whitney and then I'll address John's question and we can move on, because I'll give you a couple of different blinks, or we can cover it a different way. Whitney had great ideas, and that I said interest rates don't really affect me. What would have been a great question? Very short, because I was attempting to follow what she was saying, because I might have to talk about it. And most buyers probably won't be as attentive, or sellers, as what I'm attempting to be here. What would be a great question? That is the perfect line of thinking. How could you ask a super duper, very short picture to help me see something I haven't even thought about yet?
So I think I would have asked, how do you think interest rates are going to affect the buyers? For when
yes, and that's it. There's one more chess move probably before that question. Now you're on the right trail of finding this rabbit. That's why sometimes there's strategic questions you want to ask. There's a question that would set that question up perfectly. What might that be?
Denny,
Yes.
if you think that if the market continue going up and that's going to benefit you as a seller, how is going to affect you as a buyer?
Okay, well, hang on with that thought just a minute. Let's stay right with what we're talking about, the buyer and the interest rate question first. So we'll come back to that, right? What would be the question ahead of the one? Let me help you guys. Well, because clearly somebody who does not have a mortgage, does not plan on having a mortgage, what percent of your time do you think they think about interest rates? Not much. Maybe how little they're getting at the bank. The question would be, and this is what Whitney told me. However, a better question would be, well, let me ask you that when you go to sell your home, would you want to have the maximum exposure possible to potential buyers? Whitney.
Yes.
It's kind of like in a court of law, that would be called a leading question. But that's okay. I'm setting it up. Okay. What percent of the buyers do you think for a home like yours are in your position, basically, that can pay cash for it? Whitney.
Yeah. So pretend I just asked you that.
No, I'm asking. No, you didn't ask me that.
Okay. Well, I
I'm
would say, yeah, a
asking-
lot of them, probably half, care about interest rates, at least.
You see where I'm leading that potential seller, because they have no, they don't. So would you then, what you're saying then, we would have double the interest if we could attract cash buyers as well as buyers looking to finance.
Yes.
Now, what I've just done, that in essence is where I think Whitney was going with her question, but she was telling me the more buyers, there's buyers out there that will be using financing. And anyway, I kind of got a little lost in, because there was no question. John, thoughts on that before we move on?
You covered it as
All
usual.
right. Well, whatever, you weren't even listening. Okay, so,
I was listening.
okay, listening. Now to John's last point on John's. John is analytical, and the only thing I'm going to say about his comment is he said we're transferring an asset. The thing that I would say on that is if you're dealing with an investor that is selling an investment property to buy an investment property, I probably would use exactly what John said. I just think maybe if you're talking to me as a potential home seller and buying another home, to be that sterile about transferring an asset leaves me a little bit cold. John.
I've been accused of that. More
Yes.
than once.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else get that feeling? Anybody else? All right. Well, that's good. We kind of beat that to death. All right. I'm going to give you something else, though. On the other side of the equation, this is a YouTube. I just grabbed this. In fact, you want to just go to YouTube. You can see all kinds of different theories and thoughts. Here is a title. I just grabbed the screenshot of the title page, the thumbnail. Market's going to fall 40% spring of 2022. Your buyers have just, when you have your buyers out there looking at houses, they're going to have their little friends, the Jiminy Crickets out there that want to send all kinds of information, right? And if they don't seem to be very bullish on the market, they'll send them all the negative information. Your buyer just was given this 15-minute video about the market crashing sometime in spring of 2022. And guess what? This is what your buyer said. I heard the market's going to lose up to 40%, so I don't want to buy at the wrong time. Is that a realistic, maybe a comment you might hear from a potential buyer today? Who wants to tackle that? Who's ready for that one?
Don't be shy. Denny only calls me a cold, heartless fish. He won't say that to anyone else.
I never said that. You did.
Remember, it's what you say one thing and then what people envision.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know, right?
So,
Come on, Mindy, you're from Greater Lowell. I know Greater Lowell very well. You are tough. By the way, say hi to Yun for me next time you see her.
Oh, excellent. Well, I would have done today when I was on my team meeting. So my thought was, do you know that the market that you're buying in is also the market that you're selling in?
Well, what's the, all right, so this is, okay, so are you ready to handle the objection? That if you're going to go down that path.
No,
why
nope.
didn't-
Okay. Right. Go through the formula. All right.
Yep.
All right. So I understand that you heard that the market's going to lose 40%.
Hang on though, what is the model? Just for people, just.
Acknowledge, isolate, handle the objection, and close.
There you go. Thank you. All right, so I'm ready.
Okay. I'm not used to using the model, so bear with me. So I understand that you're concerned that the market's going to lose 40%. And you don't want to buy at the wrong time. Is that right?
You're getting clarification though, that really isn't an acknowledgement. It is kind of an acknowledgement. However, just for the people that are on the call, the acknowledgement is that I understand. I understand. And if you're not clear, then get clarity exactly what she's doing. So I'll just give you credit that that's the acknowledgement. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so other than the market going down, is there any other reason that you wouldn't buy right now?
All right, so I'm going to demonstrate, not like I did the last time. I'm going to say, well, yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen a house we like yet.
Okay, so if you saw a house that you did like, no?
Hang on. This is what I wanted to demonstrate. So when I give another objection, you've got to go back to, you don't have to always go back to acknowledge again. However, you still have to keep hitting the isolation.
Okay, all right. So I understand you haven't seen a house that you like yet. So other than not seeing a house so far that you haven't liked yet, is there any other reason you wouldn't buy right now?
So what she's doing is, other than the fact you feel the market's going to drop and you haven't found the house yet. So what you want to do is you go back and play that record again and find a different way to say it. So it doesn't like, Polly want a cracker, or you're going to sound like a parrot. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate. So let's just assume there's only one. And I'm saying, well, I watched the video. It's pretty freaking scary. In fact, I'll send it to you and you should send it out to all your potential buyers.
Wait, are you still acting as the buyer right now?
Yeah, I'm helping you now. I'm helping you by giving you my information now. So that, yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm supposed to be handling the objection right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And yet you want me to send out this video to all my buyers?
Forget I said that. I was attempting to be helpful, like you would really send that out to your buyers. So you'll ignore that. Just go right back to the role play.
Okay. All right. So if you found a home that you liked right now, would you be willing to buy a home? Now
that's a question that when you role play and you get into role, that is probably on a scale of 1 to 10, that's got to be close to a 10 question. Because she's almost not heard me. And it's kind of like saying, well, I'm never getting married again. Well, if you met Jennifer Aniston, she wanted to go, well, would you go out on a date with her? It's like, well, maybe. So, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, maybe. However, I would be concerned that house would be worth 40% less this spring.
Okay, I understand. So you're concerned that the house is going to be worth less in the spring.
Yes.
So other than the concern that the house would be less in the spring, what if it wasn't worth less in the spring? Would you be willing to buy that house now?
She caught herself. She was going around the circle she'd already been on. So that's great. Again, coming back with a great question. Well, but even if it went down 20%, I mean, that's still not good, right? I don't want to buy with the market going down.
I understand. So you're concerned that the market is going down, and my crystal ball is cloudy. You know, it's like the Powerball. We know who won last week, but we don't know who's going to win next week.
I wonder where you heard that.
I was gonna say, God, she's been listening. Denny loves that one.
Yes.
All
I want
right.
to see where she goes with this, because there's a, believe me, the buyers are thinking this, and I'm attempting to play a real buyer. There is a road though you can take always.
Uh-huh.
So you're doing good.
Okay, thank you. So we never know when the market peaks or when it bottoms out until it's.
Ask that question.
Oh, okay. So how will you know when the market has peaked?
Well, according to what I saw, it's peaking now. I mean, it's probably the peak right now, according to what I watched.
And yet, have you seen any times where they've predicted that in the past and the market still went up?
You see where she's going. Now, these are very, very compelling questions. Yeah, I mean, my first wife said a lot of things never turned out to be true. So.
Okay, so I understand that sometimes we hear things that may not become reality. And if you find a home that you are interested in, and there's the opportunity that it could go up in value, would you want to buy it today?
We're going back to the same, I would be afraid.
Mhm.
You know, it would be tempting. However, I would be afraid I'm going to lose significantly based on what I just learned.
Speaking of the fear.
Okay, so attack the fear.
Attack the fear.
attack
Find
the
out
fear.
why he's afraid about the property going down in value in the spring.
Okay, well, what is your, well, I don't know how to actually say that without just coming back and saying again, what's your fear about the property going down in value?
So let me
In
ask
the
you,
spring.
would you
In
want
the
to buy?
spring.
Okay, your coach, go ahead, John.
No, I was just gonna say, make sure you use your words. You said you're afraid the property value is gonna go down in the spring. So the way I might word that question, Mindy, is, you know, Denny, what is it about next spring that's important to you, that concerns you about your property value?
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just watching the video my friend sent me. They're saying spring. It's going to go down. The market's going to crash, and the spring is just a couple of months away. And so from that close, you know, it's kind of like, why would you want to buy at the peak of the market? So I just think it's more prudent to wait and see if this happens.
Let me ask you, John, you wanted to jump in or you want me to?
No. It's just the force of habit. Go.
Okay. Are you looking to make this your forever home?
Now that came up on a role play. Let me just step sideways here and have a little.
I know I
side-
didn't go through the steps again, but.
No.
Okay.
Here's my thing: is that I'm editorializing.
Okay.
It happened on a role play with our team. They said forever home. And I'm just letting you know, I don't like that term. I don't think people typically, now you might be looking at my age thinking, okay, well, you ain't gonna be around that much longer if this is probably your last home, right? And I don't think people think in terms of forever home. So if I say it's not my forever home, what does that mean? What picture do you see in your mind when I say, well, this isn't my forever home? What do I mean by that?
So how long do you see yourself living in this next home?
Now, do you think that is a better question?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, she could have asked it a lot worse, and she didn't break the rules. Remember, when you ask a question, don't answer the question. Some people say, well, how long are you going to be here? Like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Why do you I would just ask the question, well, how long do you see yourself in that home? Well, I don't know. I mean, we're wanting to upsize that and want to get something bigger. And so, I don't know, maybe 8, 10 years.
8, 10 years. Okay. So do you remember what happened when the market went down? Do you know what happened to market prices for homes that went down in value when the market crashed in the 07-08 time?
No.
Well, they're selling now for more than before the market crashed.
Well, how many years ago was that?
Well, it took about 8 to 10 years for them to return back to where they were before the market crashed.
So you're making it maybe more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay.
Just anybody want to take another stab at that? Because what if they say, no, I don't remember. I don't know anything about the real estate market back then. Now you're having to give them facts and figures or whatever. I'm just saying, without getting in the weeds, what would be another way to ask a really good question like that? Anyone can help her.
Hey, Denny,
Yeah.
I've got a suggestion.
Okay.
How would it make you feel if the market doesn't go down like it's predicted, and actually goes up and doesn't go down for another 5 or 10 years? Are you willing to pay 10% more for that house every year, year on, year off, for the next 10 years before you purchase it?
Now, again, Kevin, yeah, I like your line of thought, though. However, I believe in probably spoon feeding questions instead of a heaping, helping scoop. That was complex.
Yeah, that's my biggest. Yeah, that's not my biggest. That's
So it's okay. So just break it up. I'm going to back off here a little bit. We can go into, if there's a request from the crowd, we can do the request from the crowd. Here's my point, you guys. When a buyer comes in, and I've been consistent, and I've watched a video. I've watched one video that says the market's going to go down. Is it possible that that is true? Is it possible that it's not? And this is where Kevin was going. He was going to say, well, okay, so what if it doesn't go down? And typically what you want to do then is, what I like to do in a buyer like this is then you want to get into the future pacing. And you would say, well, I'm just going to write, because I see you on the screen, Kevin. I'm just going to go to you. You're the buyer. So how long have you been looking for a home? We're thinking about buying a home, I should say.
So I am the client.
You are the potential buyer.
Been looking about a year and a half.
Now you have just built a trap. You've dug in a big hole and covered it with weeds, and he's fallen in the trap. What trap did he just fall in? We're going to future pace him. So Kevin, you started like
promising, maybe.
Well, it would be like this. Well, Kevin, when a year and a half ago you started looking, you didn't pull the trigger. Why was that?
I was afraid I was going to pay too much for the house.
He's digging the hole deeper. So let me give you a mulligan. Let's say we could go back on Groundhog Day and you could relive that. Knowing what you know now, would you have been better off to buy 15 months ago?
For sure, yes.
I'm going to rub salt in it now. If you'd have bought 15 months ago, how much more would your home be worth right now?
I think I need some Kleenex. A lot.
Well, what's a lot? You're looking at a $700,000 home. Values are up probably 30%. So would you say right now you'd be paying $200,000 more for a home? I mean, you left $200,000 on the table.
Yeah. Well, a lot for me is something more than I would have paid for at that point.
So if you could go back and do it all over again, would you have bought a year and a half ago?
I would have.
Now, one question puts the bow in it. What's the bow question? Like the package and you put a pretty little bow on it? What's the bow?
Are you willing to take the chance again right now?
There you go. How will you feel 15 months from now when you left another $200,000 on the table?
Pretty terrible.
And well, the video said, I understand. Would you feel better if I showed you a video that said the opposite?
Nice.
So, all right, where do we go from here, guys? John, figure out what people want to talk about. Let's make it their time now. This is dealer's choice, people's choice.
All right, guys, let's see. We had one at the very beginning. Let me scroll through. I believe it was Marie Torres who posted something. Property's been on the market for a month, have showings, but no offers. Seller is not in a hurry. Thinks in the springs we'll have more buyers. How can I have the conversation to ask the seller to lower the price?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Who would like to be the agent on that one?
Well, she has to have a conversation, right?
Well, yeah, you know what? Let's make her be the agent, Denny.
Yeah, step up.
All right. So who wants to be the seller that thinks they're going to get more buyers? And so everybody understands, Marie is from frozen tundra land of Toronto, I believe. Is that right, Marie?
California.
You're from California?
Yes,
You have buyers now.
I do have buyers, but the house needs upgrades, so it's not selling for a
Okay.
month.
So who wants to be the seller that thinks that all these buyers in California are going to come out magically on March 22nd, the first day of spring?
I give you
I'll
this.
do it.
All right, Joshua, you're up. Joshua is going to be your seller, Marie. Go ahead.
Model, please. Somebody repeat the model.
Acknowledge, isolate, handle objection, and close.
Perfect. Great job.
Josh, I appreciate where you're coming from. You think that in the spring there will be more buyers in the market, and let me ask you, other than waiting for the spring, is any other thing that is stopping you from adjusting the price today?
Nice job. Nice job.
Well,
And for
no,
time-
I mean, I'm in no rush. So what's the point of selling now when I can just wait a few months? The weather will be a little warmer, and I just feel like people will just be more willing to buy at the price that I want. So why not wait?
I totally understand. We might have more buyers, but you think there is a chance that we might have less buyers in the spring instead of more buyers, considering the interest rate is going up?
Well, you're absolutely right. But like I said, I'm just in no rush. So whether it takes, a few months or even more, I just, this is just a property that I don't really care if it sits for a little bit.
I see. I understand that. Now, Joshua, let me ask you, if in the spring, instead of getting more buyers, we get less buyers, how would you feel then?
I'll be honest, it'd be a little disappointing.
And if you have less buyers and then your house doesn't sell in the spring, would you be willing to adjust the price then in March?
It would be something that I would consider, but that wouldn't be until March.
Okay, I am stuck here.
Tag someone who can land the plane. Land the plane. Somebody just sent me a video. It says the market's going to be down 40% this spring. Would you like to see it?
Oh, wow, really? Yeah, I would love to see that video.
I'm going to go back. One of the first things he said, and this would have been a great thing for someone to pick up on. And I didn't write it down, so forgive me. He was saying, well, I think I can get my price this spring. So is that somewhere close to what you said?
Yeah.
What is going through your mind? What is a great question to ask now?
What is spring to you? Or we already know that it's March.
Well, I tell you, that is yeah, okay. So what is spring? All right, so it's gonna be April 1st, okay? What's another question?
What
Dealing
price do you
with-
want the property?
There you go. That's it. Boom, that's it. Well, what price is that you want for your home?
My what's the average price point in your area?
You're the, wait, whoa.
Just pick a number.
Okay,
He's
all right.
He's just trying
Well,
to
you know,
hone in on
I'm-
a price point for Marie right now.
Yeah. You know, I'm looking to get no less than 785. I really just believe that that's what my house is worth.
What's the next logical question, guys? You're building a little, you're gonna triangulate him in a second. If he's gonna be checkmated here in a second. What's the next question?
What are you looking at net?
No, not yet. Don't complicate it. Simple.
What if we could get you 785 now?
Whoa, Jeff, what do you, well, man, I didn't know. I've been nervous. I didn't know you're on. You're a star, man. That's the question. So I understand the net and all that stuff, but what do you want? You know, I'm attempting to keep these simple. Well, what if the market delivered 780 now? What would you do?
Well, I would be perfectly happy with selling my house right now, but I'm just, you know, we just haven't had any bites. So I just kind of figured, why not wait?
Are you then? All right. Who's got it? You guys got this now. Come on. He's basically ready to be hauled into the boat. Who's got the gig? Or what do you call those things?
Gaff.
Gaff, that's it. Just like I made a gaff. Okay, so who's got the next question? Come on, Jeff, land it.
If I could show you how we could get you 785 right now, could we have a conversation about listing your property next week?
Well, it's actually reducing the prices this particular scenario.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Reducing it?
Yes, this is a price reduction conversation.
I thought he didn't want to sell it because of this. Oh, so what's
They
it
don't
listed
want to
at?
reduce the price until the spring when there's more buyers.
Okay, I got it. So it's on the market now, and what's it listed at now? 800?
Yeah,
Call
we'll
it
just say
800.
800, and I would be happy with 765.
Okay. Then, all right, then we can finish this up. We got a couple minutes. Can you finish it up, Jeff?
You know, in my experience, if we list the house at a price that will bring more interest back to the market, we have a great chance of selling it. If you're willing to take 765, would you consider us trying that for the next week to see if we get those bites that you're looking for?
If it's only for the next week, I'm concerned. I have a friend that whose seller told him to lower his price, and it's just been sitting on the market for a few months now. So he hasn't gotten the price that he wants, and he still hasn't been getting the buyers in. So I'm just a little nervous about that.
So as we put a bow on it, there's other lines of questions, for example. So in the spring, when you want to wait for the other buyers, what do a lot of sellers do in the spring?
They put their home on the market.
Yeah, so my curious is they're waiting for more buyers, yet there's going to be more sellers. Does that work in your favor or work against you?
Well, no, you're right. It definitely doesn't work in my favor. I just figured that, you know, there'd just be higher demand in the market. So,
Well, if there's higher demand and higher competition, what if it was just a push? Would you be winning?
what do you mean if it was just the push?
A push meaning that it doesn't change the market. I mean, because there's more sellers out there and there's more buyers, it's still 800. You still are, the market's still saying no to you at 800.
I mean, yeah, that would be a tough pill to swallow if I'm waiting all this time. You know, I'm not in a rush, but you know,
I get that. And I'll do one more line of question, you guys. And let me ask you this: have you ever bought a home before?
Well, yeah, I'm selling the house that I bought currently.
Okay. So if you were a buyer, you are going to be a buyer here soon. So let me ask you this: if you saw a home that was on the market 1 week or a home that was on the market 190 days, would you have the same opinion of the home?
No, I probably wouldn't even touch that one that's been on the market for 190 days.
So basically, your friends basically lowered the price there and not getting action. So which means the market's saying no. So if the longer it's on the market, is that working for them or against them?
It's working against them, yeah.
Are you afraid that's going to happen to you when your house has a birthday?
Absolutely.
You see, there's another, you got to invoke pain into that. Anything else? Jeff, good to see you again. Anything else, you guys? We're at the top of the hour. We don't have to leave right on the top of the hour necessarily. I did say, I for some of you, and I don't know what I promised. I just found your email. I said I was going to send out something to you guys. Was that the 3 outcome sheet? I don't remember what I promised Whitney I was going to send. You know?
The Washington Post article link.
That was today. I think the link is in there. I think John or somebody put the link in there. I'm talking about last week. Anybody remember? Okay. Anybody have an aha today? Anybody find this was worthwhile time-wise? If so, what did you learn? Really quick. Get 2 or 3 really fast. These are cookies for the speaker.
I learned that I can't miss 3 months of this because I'm rusty and out of practice.
Well, you actually just need a shave. That's all. You're good. You look good. Thanks, Jeff. What else?
We need to slowly lead them to where they need to self-discover.
Yeah, you had some amazing questions. You did a really good job.
Thank you.
I only had to use a little bit of a light sandpaper on yours.
Thank you.
One more, please. One more.
I think not assuming what your buyer or seller wants and just taking the time to listen to them and acknowledge and then just follow the system.
Yeah, because if you're assuming, and I'll close with this, a dog running. Whenever you're assuming that your picture matches my picture, and the probability of that happening is very, very low. So you are going to be finding out, you want to give, you'll be operating not only on the wrong leg, but the wrong part of the leg. So I appreciate you guys being on. Tell your friends about it. We'll be back next week, same channel, same time. Check out YouTube, Denny Grimes Mastery Real Estate. Thanks so much for you guys being on. Great participation. I learned so much when I listened to you guys. Makes me better. See you next week.